Scorpio in the Gospels. This is coming from Mark chapter 10, verse 32 to 52. Okay? So those of you who are new, this is your first time here. This is the book, the textbook, the class textbook, the Gospel and the Zodiac, the secret truth about JC, the Christ figure. This is by Bill Darrell-El. So take a look at this. You can get the free PDF in the description area of the video. Okay, y'all? The free PDF is there. If you have any questions or you want any follow-up information, a lot of what he presents, you can get a lot more detail out of the Devil's Pulpit by Robert Taylor. Okay, by Robert Taylor. Don't be fooled by the name Devil's Pulpit. He was accused of being a devil for revealing secrets. Okay. That's where the name comes from. So don't think it's some kind of spooky stuff. So he took that brand that the religious leaders attempted to use to destroy his character with and his reputation, and he flipped it, much the same way as the blacks in North America flipped the use of the N-word. Okay, and then they use it themselves, right? Okay, so same concept there, so don't get it twisted, all right? Don't get spooky. Get out of the religious mindset, okay? And that has a lot to do with what we're going to go into today. So we stopped on our last presentation. So I'm at the cafe, we're at the coffee shop, right? This is a black cafe. Let me show you. This is a pretty standard cup that you'll see in Ho Chi Minh City. And most other cities in Vietnam, this is about the standard cup. Some of them, they may have their logo or branding. Okay, others don't. All right. So you see, this is a full cup of ice, or nearly full cup of ice, with black coffee. They call it cafe. Okay, no sugar. So if you take coffee that's a natural bean, not a natural bean, but you know, a natural coffee. It's actually a fruit, right? It's on a tree. I've picked coffee before since I've been in Vietnam. So you pick it off of the tree as a fruit. It looks kind of like cranberries, right? It looks like cranberries. But anyway, you pick them, and they're hard when you touch them. They're hard. They're not soft. If you have a natural coffee fruit, right? Natural coffee tree, it's not hybrid. Then coffee is an amazing herb. Okay, but it has caffeine, so you have to use it in moderation. Like some people, they don't tolerate coffee well. Okay, but if it's non-hybrid, it's very healthy. It's an herb, but you destroy its beneficial usages when you mix it with white sugar. You can take it with honey or anything that's natural, and it still has its good herbal effect. But with sugar, the sugar is going to make your breath smell bad, right? Bacteria is going to grow. Or with milk, that's going to break down to sugar. You get bad breath, all right? And it also increases your blood sugar level, which is not good. All right, but anyway, this is one of the more favorite things, my favorite things about Vietnam. But I'm not a big coffee drinker. I prefer tea. I prefer tea over coffee. But it's nice to have it. Sometimes I buy it and I sip it. I don't even drink, not even 3/4 of it often. I wind up throwing it away. Okay? But I like the coffee culture. The coffee culture in Vietnam is amazing. But anyway, let me get back focused. So we're on page 161. Actually, this is the last thing I'll say. The coffee culture in Vietnam makes a trip to Vietnam worth it in itself. If you were to come to Vietnam and explore just the coffee houses to experience the coffee culture, let's say in the big cities like Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, in the smaller cities, you experience the beauty, the absolute stunning beauty of the architecture, the art, and the environment. You know, the lakes, the mountains, the street. Oh, it's just amazing. I mean, it's worth whatever you spend for that trip. Trust me, it is worth it. Okay, so let's go back to the lesson. It's a cool place to chill and reconnect with nature, yo. Vietnam has the absolute most beautiful landscapes. I mean, it is just incredible. And the interesting thing too, I won't get into the details, but when you look at the position of Vietnam on a map, compare that to the position of the Promised Land. Now, if y'all don't know, you can watch the presentation, the video presentation I did on the location of the Promised Land according to Moses. And I got some other stuff I'm thinking about doing on YouTube. I may do it in my class. Or maybe I'll do both. I'm going to ask the scholars what they want to do. But you can correlate, or there is some correlation, okay, between Jubilees, the verses where it says that Shem's land is neither hot nor cold, right? So I did a whole etymological thing on that in the past, quite a few times. But a place like Vietnam is neither hot nor cold, if y'all know what that means. Let those who have ears hear. Okay? Last week, 2 days piping hot, the next day cold. 1 day piping hot, in the evening it's cold, you need a jacket. That's in Ho Chi Minh City. You go in some provinces, you need to wear a jacket in Vietnam. Y'all heard? And Vietnam has a desert too. A natural desert, not a man-made desert, a natural desert. Okay, so for those of you who have ears, hear what I just said to you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, figure it out. Watch the video that I did, again, the Promised Land according to Moses. All right, so we're on page 61. Okay, so we, in the last video, we left off at Mark chapter 10, verse 37, and this is how it reads. Let one of us sit at your right and the other at your left in glory. So these were two people who wanted to rule, reign, be big shots with JC the Christ figure, okay, on his throne. All right, so go back and watch the presentation just before this one if you want to know what we did with that. Okay, so let's continue. Next paragraph. This is a clear expression, that's Mark chapter 10, 37, of the scorpionic reluctance. In other words, people who are Scorpio, their personality. That's what it's talking about. Of the scorpionic reluctance to play second fiddle. And JC roundly condemns it. So a person who's Scorpio, their personality, they want to be first. They don't want to be second in anything. Okay? JC tells them that the spiritual reward is not simply conferred like a knighthood, like you get conferred as a knight, right? He tells them that spiritual reward, let me go back. It has to be earned. The spiritual reward has to be earned through suffering. Now, if you go back to the contract with Moses, those words that was given to Moses, that were given to Moses, and the contract that we entered into as a nation with the Most High, the people there and their ascendants coming after them, their youngins, kinfolk, all bound, obligated to the same contract to follow natural law. There were two options. You see it written in scripture with the subheading, blessings and curses. Now those are abstract terms. You can find this stuff at Deuteronomy chapter 28, the blessings, verse 1 through 14. This is tangible wealth, okay, elite status or noble status, nobility, right? And good health and peace. Here's your shalawama, or your shalawam, or however you want to pronounce it. Okay? In the contract. In religion, y'all call that the Mosaic Law or the Mosaic Covenant. Okay? I call it the words that were given to Moses and the contract. But it doesn't matter. But there's your shalawama. Tangible riches, leadership in all areas of human activity, nobility, okay, nobility, and all the things that come along with nobility, okay. So what are those laws? Simply live in harmony with nature. Stated differently, be honorable in all areas of life and at all costs. Be honorable. Observe nature. Study and learn from it. This is where you learn to create. Okay, this is how you activate your quote unquote, let me not say the God faculty. I want to come up with some different terminology. Your creative faculty. Okay, your capacity to create your own circumstance, your own environment, your own conditions, the quality of life that you desire. I am. Right? What comes to me is what? Is what I am. If I'm a dirty SOB, what's going to come in my life? More dirty SOBs. Just like me, I am. I attract what I am. Clear? When you speak it, it actually comes into existence. In the beginning was the Word. Y'all hear that? You see that? When you speak it, okay? You speak trauma, poverty, tragedy, failure. You speak that, that's what you're going to get. Why? Because I am. I am whatever I say I am. Right? And what I say I am, I do. I be, I exist, etc. Right? All forms of that. Now, take that to Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. These are the curses or the punishments, right? But those are abstract. Concretely, that's poverty. That's sickness and illness, death, and the condition of lack and fear, trauma. Okay, all of the bad things. So the reward for not living in harmony with natural law is suffering. Physical suffering, right? Short lifespan. Abortion. Y'all heard me? Abortion. Abortion. Short lifespan. What? This is actually mentioned in the verses. I'm not making this up. Okay? Birth defects, poverty, being oppressed under someone else's domination, being in bondage, loss of status, all of that. All of that. That's the reward for not following natural law. The Most High's instructions are natural law. Y'all call it the Mosaic Covenant. Now, let's do another comparison here. Christ says that to get the spiritual reward, and there's no spiritual reward offered in the contract. None, zero, no spiritual reward. There are tangible rewards. That means you're on earth, okay? When you get them, you're alive. There's no spiritual reward. That spiritual reward can only be gotten by suffering. You see, this is exactly the opposite of what we're promised in the contract. See, if we are suffering, we know that we did what? We didn't follow the Most High's instructions, which are natural law. So therefore, we are suffering. And isn't that natural? Nobody has to tell you that, do they? What's counterintuitive is that you need to suffer in order to live well, and then you're going to do that after death. Y'all hear? So you just got sweet talked out of your birthright, sweet talked out of wealth and success in everything that you do, according to Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. Yeah, you got sweet talked out of it. Sweet talked out of it by the Gospels. Okay? So suffering, there's no dignity in suffering. All right? I'm talking about a lifetime of suffering. Of course, life comes with suffering. That's how you learn. But to stay in the position of suffering and thinking that you're going to get some spiritual reward, well, there's no dignity in that because you're being tricked. You're being tricked. Okay? You're being humiliated. Sweet talked out of your inheritance. Okay? So I talked about this more in the presentation before this one. So y'all go back and listen to that. But I want to make it clear that this notion that there's a spiritual reward that you get through suffering is in complete conflict with the Mosaic law, with the contract. Okay? Again, there's no spiritual reward in the Mosaic covenant or in that contract. And number two, suffering is what you get for breaking the commandments. It is not what you get for keeping them. What you get for keeping the commandments or following natural law is an abundance, a superabundance of material wealth and success and achievement. Okay? Period. Okay. If they wish to share the glory, they have. If they wish to share the glory, they wish to share the shine, they have to follow his path, quote, to drink from my cup and be baptized with my baptism. This is Mark chapter 10, verse 38. So what is that cup, y'all? And what is that baptism? The path of discipleship is not an easy path to tread. So cup and baptism, cup is a crater, that's a constellation. Baptism has to do with, that's also a constellation. Okay, baptism actually is Aquarius, referencing Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius is a cold, dark time of the year, right? December and January. Okay, so those of you who will remember, Aquarius is very destructive, oppressive. It will crush you, make you change if you survive. make you change your mindset. Okay? Make you change your mindset. Go from completely individualistic, right? And the N word, okay? Crush you until you have to learn to cooperate. Because you quickly realize that unless you cooperate with others who look like you, you won't survive. All right? And for most of our people, that's what it's going to take to get them to change their mindset. Okay? The crater is a cup. It's a constellation. It's not a zodiac sign. But you'll see the crater, and you'll also see Aquarius in the picture of the Lord's evening meal. So what's in the cup? It's the wine, right? It's the wine. Okay? And who is the wino? Bacchus. Who is the wino? Bacchus. Who is Bacchus? Y'all put these deities together. They overlap each other. Okay? They overlap each other. You can get this information out of the Devil's Pulpit. The link to the free PDF is in the description area of this video. The link to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course is also in the description area of this. You have to learn Ancient Ibaryath, y'all. You got to learn linguistics. The class that I provide, it's available 24/7. It's a streaming class. All of y'all should subscribe. I've made it less than affordable. And maybe that's a problem. Because people tend to think if it's free or if the price is low, it's no good. You know, the more I think about this, the more I think I should double or make that class maybe $100 or $200. Because by it being so inexpensive, people think that, you know, it's not any good. But I'm thinking about that, okay? Because price does communicate value, right? And there should be a fair exchange in every contract, every agreement. There should be a fair exchange, okay? And what I'm getting is not fair on that, okay? But anyway, let's continue. So these are reference to astrological references, okay, in Mark chapter 10, verse 38. To drink from my cup, okay? So we're dealing with prayer. We're dealing with what? Excessive alcohol consumption, orgies, and all of the immorality. All of the immorality that come from excessive alcohol consumption or being an alcoholic. Okay? Drink from that cup. I know y'all have never heard this before, but go check it out in the Devil's Pulpit and be baptized with my baptism. Okay, so the baptism of John is also discussed in the Devil's Pulpit. All right? Or is he talking about the baptism of his death? Some people will say that. He needs, you need to be crucified, right? Tormented and tortured. Okay, so you need to follow the path of being tormented and tortured. Now, remember, I just mentioned a little while ago that suffering in the Mosaic covenant is a punishment for not following the Most High's instructions, for breaking the law. JC is telling you suffering is a reward for following what he tells you to do. Okay? So they're opposites. So you got to make a decision. Who are you going to stand with? JC said he stood with Moses. That's exactly what he said. He said, I always follow the commandments. All right. But what are you going to do? Are you going to follow Paul, the New Testament? Or are you going to do like JC said, follow the commandments? Okay, at least he did say that, right? But he added to them, and nobody can add to them. Okay? But let's continue. The path of discipleship is not an easy one to tread. You damn right it's not easy. But to follow the Most High's commandments is super easy. Very, very easy. All you have to do is live in harmony with nature. Be honorable. Honor your foremothers and your forefathers. Period. That means do what? Harmonize with nature. Simple. Okay? Are you going to go out and jump off a bridge? No, you're not going to do that, are you? Because you know the consequences. Are you going to go out and do something really stupid? Anything that's really stupid, you already know that that's what? Out of harmony with nature. Are you going to do it? Well, I hope you won't, but you might if you're young or if you're an old fool. But experience will teach you don't do stupid stuff. Experience will teach you what you should and shouldn't do. Right? Right? Don't go running around with your brother's consort, with your brother's woman, or with your sister's man. Okay? Everybody knows you shouldn't do that. But if you do it, okay, when you get found out, you're going to learn not to do that again. Okay? Or you'll be presented with opportunities to learn not to do that again. Okay? So this is very simple stuff. Okay? Let your yes mean yes and your no, no. Whatever you agree to, do it. Okay? Be honorable, be generous. Okay? Concerned about others, empathetic. This is nature, natural. Okay? Don't go chase a wild animal. You will not win. Right? Common sense, that's natural. Don't go out in the woods at night. Common sense, natural, right? But it's also natural. It's also natural to help your own people and to do business with your own people. That only feels uncomfortable because you've been conditioned and indoctrinated to hate yourself and to do what? Sacrifice yourself. Okay? Through your Christianity. All right? So, to keep the commandments, those words that were given to Moses, is very easy. Actually simple. Okay? It's the religion, the belief system, that's very difficult to keep. The nature of this path has been explained 3 times now. These 3 predictions of the passion, death, and resurrection, coming from Mark chapter 8, verse 31, and chapter 9, 30 through 32, and 10, 32 through 34, are set pivotally in the Gospels. Y'all know what a pivot is? For example, let's say this is a pivot. The straw is the pivot. Okay? The straw is the pivot. Everything is balanced on that pivot. Or a pivot can do what? Turn. Right? Are set pivotally in the Gospels. So the passion, the death, and the resurrection are set pivotally in the Gospels. That's intentionally, right? In order to emphasize the underlying Piscean character of the narrative as a whole. So the Pisces character, the Piscean character. So what is that? So what is that? That's suffering. Right, y'all? Pisces is all about suffering. Suffering and renunciation. Let's read. Let's read. Pisces is the sign of the new age. Now remember, there was a transition of zodiac ages. Okay, they were coming out of the bull, Taurus, and going into Pisces. Let me rephrase that. Initially, when we pick up the stories in the scripture, the House of Yasharala, they were coming out of Egypt. That was Taurus. Okay, that's why we had the bull. Okay, the golden calf and all of that. The next age was Aries. The next age was Aries. The ram, that's why they blow the shofar. Okay? And then after that, coming into Pisces. The two fish. Alright? The two fish. So this is suffering. Go back and watch the videos that I did on Pisces. Okay? On Pisces, the two fish. Alright? Part of this presentation series. Okay? And keep in mind, moving from one age into another, there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of suffering, just going through that transition. But Pisces is all about suffering and renunciation. Now, in the book, they're going to say, well, we'll go through it. Pisces is the sign of the new age, which will be characterized by the Pisces qualities of suffering and renunciation. Every human being, quote unquote, son of man. Now, every time you see human being, you should think Han Uman. You should think Han Uman. Okay, the half man, half monkey created creature from Genesis chapter 1 who has no inheritance. Y'all got it? He has no right of inheritance. He cannot or it cannot own land. Now, is that related to Jacob and Esau, y'all? Is that related to the Jacob and Esau story? You can decide. Two brothers. Han Uman comes from the womb of a Moabite woman, from the sperm of a chimpanzee. The one with the black hair, the one who's most territorial, most aggressive, most warlike, most unpredictable. Two brothers from the same womb, that of a Moabite woman, different fathers, right? Two manner of people. You know, I should go back and check out if that word is actually people or not. I suspect there can be other meanings than people. Two manner of people. And people is a big thing, y'all. When you use that word people, that's a big thing. One stronger than the other. But anyway, y'all carry that out. It just came to my mind. Y'all take that. I don't want to deal with it right now. Okay? But remember, it is a story. It's a story. Every human being, son of man, has to be tried by suffering in order to share in the glory of Christ. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with the Mosaic covenant, nothing to do with the book of the law whatsoever. Period. I challenge you to find that in the book of the law. It ain't there. Now remember, you're not supposed to add anything to the book of the law, and you're not supposed to take anything away from the book of the law, but here we see something added, right? Or is it added? How do you deal with it? How do you reconcile this, scholars? Every human being, quote unquote, son of man, that's a significant phrase, has to be tried by suffering in order to share in the glory of the Christ. Now, our ancient ancestors, they didn't have to suffer, did they? No, they were given the promised land on GP. They didn't do any suffering for the promised land. Right? It was just a promise. And the promise was kept, period. They didn't have to go through any suffering. They just kept the promise. All right? We all have our own route to Calvary. Listen to this, y'all. We all have our own route to Calvary. Quote, the place of the skull, end quote. So where is the skull? Don't think geographically. Think here. Where is your skull? Your skull is here, right? It's a hard, bony shell with the brain inside. Okay? And the mind inhabits your physical body. So Christ. Let's get into the astrology or the astrotheology of it, okay? We all have our own route to Calvary. Quote, that place of the skull. Right, that's where JC was crucified, right? That's where JC was crucified. That's where the S-U-N son, S-O-N son, one and the same, where his light was put out. Where he was terminated. He expired. The sun, the S-U-N sun, the disc in the sky. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. It's so loud over here. Let me give it a second. Right? It's a bunch of high school students. All right, y'all, like and share the video. Like and share the video. If you've been here more than 5 minutes, like and share the video. No free rides here, okay? If you don't want to do that, I'm inviting you to leave. If you've been here more than twice and you've stayed more than 5 minutes, subscribe to the channel. That's my expectation. Okay, if you don't want to do that, I invite you to leave. No free ride, no free lunch, okay? I need you to do it because YouTube shadow bans this channel. And without your support by liking and subscribing and sharing, this message won't go far. All right? This message won't go far. It'll stop with you. It'll stop with you. Okay? So, have some type of sense of nationalism. Okay? Do this for your nation. Even if you feel uncomfortable, try to get in the habit of doing things for your nation. Okay? All right. That's called nationalism. See, when you start traveling overseas, you'll see how important nationalism is. Y'all don't know about nationalism. The blacks, African Americans, Latinos, all of y'all Mexicans, all of y'all in North America who ain't never gone nowhere, never traveled and lived overseas for a prolonged period of time. You know anything about nationalism? If you go to Canada or if you go to Mexico, okay? Oh, the people are not so nice, right? Some people might feel that way. Oh, they did this and they did. No, it's not that they're not nice. It's that they're nationalistic. They care about their people first, not you. Okay? Now, should they treat you well? Yes, of course. That's called hospitality. But when you travel overseas and you live overseas, a year or even 6 months, you begin to see how important nationality is. Okay, because you ASS out when you travel overseas. Nationality becomes everything. Okay? That's one of the ways I woke up. That's one of the ways that I found out who I am, when I got a dose of nationality being used against me. Okay? But anyway, it's quite a shame that more of y'all don't travel so you can begin to see what is natural. Because trust me, if you're a black, African American, Latino, all of these things, you are not in a natural state of mind. When you go overseas, go to a place like Vietnam or China or Korea. Go to any one of these Asian countries, you will see what nature is, because religion hasn't destroyed their minds over here in Asia. Unless you go to India. India is a completely different story. In India, the religions, they're killing each other. Right? The Hindus versus the Muslims. The vegetarians versus the meat eaters. It's crazy in India. They're completely divided amongst religious lines. Such a shame. And you see it expressed in filthiness all over the country. I'm talking about the way they live. Filthy. It's the religious mindset. It's filthy. But anyway, I forgot where I was at. Well, I don't know why I got, renunciation. So in Christianity or in religion, they want you to think about renouncing materialism. Renounce materialism. Renounce living a rich, exciting life. Renounce it. Take an oath to poverty. Well, guess what that's saying? Redenominate that or denominate that differently. Denominate it this way. Renounce blessings. Renounce Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, and your right and the free gift of an extremely wealthy, luxurious lifestyle. Renounce equivalent statement. Okay? It is an equivalent statement. Let me say it again. The Piscean mindset, or the Christian mindset, to renounce wealth, riches, bling or shine. I talk about this in the online Ancient Ibaryath course. Bling and shine. Renounce it. Repudiate it. Reject it. That's what it's saying, reject it. That is telling you to reject the blessings. Deuteronomy chapter 28, 1 through 14. That's exactly what it's saying. Why? Because Deuteronomy 28, verse 1, 2, and 3. Quote, and this is a paraphrase. If you carefully follow all of these commandments, or if you carefully follow all of these instructions that I'm giving you today, timestamp today, though, that's Moses' words, not Adam, not Abraham, not JC the Christ figure in the future, not any prophet, but what was given to Moses. If you carefully follow all of these instructions, commandments I am giving you today, then all of this lavish lifestyle, all of these riches, tangible riches, gold, silver, land, etc., commerce, etc., will not only follow you, but chase you down and overtake you. You cannot escape them. You follow natural law, you follow the Most High's commandments, you will be wealthy. Period. You live in harmony with the universe. You live in harmony with natural law. Follow the ways, the customs, the heritage of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. There is no way you cannot be a tremendous success at everything you put your hand to. Yeah, you walk around in splendor, bling, shine. Okay, that's the goal. That should be the goal of all of us. But the church tells you to repudiate that and to seek out suffering, which is a punishment according to the Mosaic law. Do y'all see what they did to your mind? You see that? They got you chasing after what is bad for you, what is harmful for you, what puts you in bondage, sickness, in an adversarial relationship with your family. Let me not say your family, with your kinfolk and your nation, to put you in a persistent and consistent state of poverty and ill health and failure. You can never forget the bondage. Suffering and death are a condition of our human nature. Y'all see that? But I'm here to tell you that no, it is not. Suffering is a condition of living out of harmony with nature and with, or denominate that in a different way, dishonorable behavior, heathen. You heathen. That's right, the heathen is to suffer. Let me say that again. The heathen is to suffer. The hybrid is not supposed to be here. And the hybrid will be wiped out. The S-U-N sun, the orb in the sky, will take care of that. It's just a matter of time. All right? Other mechanisms too, but for sure, the hybrid cannot survive that sun. Nothing that's not supposed to be here will stay here. And the DNA of man and woman is self-corrective. It is self-corrective. When you fast, you activate the self-corrective mechanism of your DNA. Did y'all know that? Any virus, any cell infected with a virus, that fasting, you do it long enough, you go in and come out properly. Guess what? Those virus-infected cells that altered the DNA will be killed. The virus will be flushed out, and guess what? You got a brand new cell from, you guessed it right, from stem cells that were produced, that are pluripotential, and that will then what? Differentiate into whatever tissue you need it to be. All what? All done through what? Consciousness. Yes, intelligent energy. How does it happen? Who knows? But it does. All right? Now, if you took the jab, I just gave you some information that can be life-saving. But I'm not the one to tell you what to do. So return to the Most High. Follow natural law. Get out of these belief systems. Skull Place, Calvary, the place where Christ was tortured, shamed, terminated, and expired. Every time you come to this channel and you watch me, you listen to me, and I put that bright light in your eye that makes a lot of y'all angry, that bright light of nature, hurts. Maybe it causes cognitive dissonance in many of you. Okay? You don't want to hear it. Why? Because the light is too bright. It goes against your belief system. So you cover your eyes. Change the channel. Or you go talk trash about me. Or you report me to YouTube or Amazon. Like a lot of y'all have done. Try to make problems for me. Right? Why? Because that bright light hurts. And every time you hear the truth, what did Christ say? I am the truth and the light. Anybody who comes to the Father must come through me. And who is Christ? Well, I'm the Christ. You're also the Christ, each and every one of us. Now remember, the Christ can be in the higher self, or the Christ can be in the lower self, which is a devil, an evil, wicked SOB. Y'all know what we talked about. The summer solstice, right? That vertical line. January 22nd, 23rd, January 21, 22, 23, December 21, 22. At this extreme end of the line is the Christ, right? Summer solstice, sun at the highest position in the northern part of the sky. Down here, December 21, 22, sun at its lowest position in the ecliptic, right? It's cold, it's dark. Things are dying and dead in the winter. Okay? People do evil stuff in the dark, don't they? So take the D off of dark and add it to evil, you get devil. Here is where the concept of devil comes from in your religion. Clear? Okay, so they're at the opposite end of the same line. Opposite, opposer, adversary. There is your Satan. Satan the opposer. Satan at the opposite end of the line. What line? The solsticistic line. I don't know if that's a word, but that's what it is. All right? The summer solstice and the winter solstice. Period. The sun at its highest point in its northerly orbit, the sun at its lowest point in its southerly orbit. Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. That is extremely significant. Scholar, make your integration. Over here, the equinox, spring and fall. Here is where you get the cross. All right? These are the cardinal points. They don't change. These mark the seasons. Where are you going to see the seasons? Where is it most prominent? North America. Who are known? Who is known? What nation is known for astrology? Their knowledge of the cosmos. Who? Who? So-called ancient Egyptians. Is that correct? Is that correct? If they never traveled to North America, how is it that they know about the seasons? Last time I checked, over there on the other side, and the other Africa, in the east, they don't have winter, right? Unless you go up in the mountains, right? What do they have? Hot and rainy season. North America, we have winter, summer, spring, and fall. Scholars make your correlations and integrations. Where? Where is ancient Egypt? You tell me. Where? They never been to North America? How could they know? In Mexico. I was in Mexico City. It got cold. I needed a coat. I think I was there in the fall. I was freezing in Mexico City. I had to go. I had to win. I went to the Yucatan. Yucatan, beautiful weather. They didn't have winter. Okay? I didn't see not nan snowfall in Mexico. Huh? I ain't see not nan snowfall in Mexico. Summer, winter, spring, autumn. Where'd that come from? How did they know if they never been there? Huh? Or is America the old world? Or is America where Egypt was and is? Y'all make sense of that yourself. I'll let you think about that. Y'all make sense of that. You have a lot that you can use to do your research on. And if you already knew that, this should give you more confidence. Okay? Should give you more confidence. They would have had to be in North America in order to know about the 4 seasons. Yes or no? How would they ever know about winter if they never experienced winter? How would they ever know about fall if they never experienced the autumn? Huh? How would they know any of this information if they were not there long enough to observe the heavens? So they weren't just there for, a short weekend trip and then they went back over to the east part of Africa, right? They would have had to be there, what? Thousands, if not tens of thousands of years in order to be able to observe the heavens and see New Jerusalem. Okay, y'all? Clear? Other than that, they would have been looking up in the wilderness. Huh? You can get the free PDF to the Devil's Pulpit in the description area of this video if you don't know what I'm talking about as far as the wilderness and New Jerusalem. Also, links to ancient Ibaryath books that I have written that are available online, zionlawschool.org. All those links are in the description area of this video. Also, the classes that I teach, live and streaming, those are in the description area of this video. So let me say thank you now for those of you who have made a donation or investment in the work that I'm doing, okay? And those of you who are planning on it or who want to. So thank you very much. It does help me out a lot. Okay, it helps me out a lot. But anyway, the link to the free PDF, The Devil's Pulpit, so you can do your own. You do not need me to do this for yourself. Okay? I put the books there. Now, when you start reading them, you may find that your reading comprehension skills are low. Maybe you don't understand. Okay? That's what these presentations are for. So what are you getting from me? I'm giving you access to hundreds of thousands of Federal Reserve notes worth of education, decades of education, formal and self-education. I'm giving to you free. Okay? Free. So if you want to, you want to buy me a coffee or a lemonade or tea, feel free to do so. I accept it, and I'm grateful and thankful for it. Okay, let's go back to Calvary. Skull plate. So here I am presenting you with the gospel and the zodiac. This bright light, cosmology, not some spooky stuff, but nature. All right? It's hurting your eyes. It's different, goes against your religious doctrine. And you reject it. I don't want nothing to do with this astro theology, with this zodiac stuff. Okay? I don't want to hear anything that's different. It's going to knock me off my foundation. Get it away. Right? It's too bright. It's blinding you. So what did you do? You just killed the Christ. You just killed the Christ. Where? In your skull. Skull place. You killed the Christ. In your mind. Do you see that? Yes or no? Do you see that? When the bright light of truth, Christ said, I am the truth and the light. Anybody who comes to me, comes to the Father, must come to me first. And here you are rejecting the truth and rejecting the light. You killed the Christ in your mind, inside of skull place. You killed the Christ. So what did you choose? You chose the darkness over the light. Y'all see that? You chose a belief system over nature, and the Most High's laws are natural law. The Most High's commandments are natural law. Period. You rejected it. You killed the Christ. Right here. Let's continue. In skull place. Suffering and death are a condition of our human nature. No, they are not. Suffering and death is a condition of poverty and ignorance. Let me repeat that. Suffering and death are a condition of poverty and ignorance. More importantly than that, living out of harmony with nature. If you live out of harmony with nature, you have to be ignorant. Right? Yes, you do. See, we have a saying, don't we? Go with the flow. That means what? You go with the current. Don't go against the current. What's the current? The current is nature. You will not ever overcome nature for a prolonged period of time. Now, can you build an airplane and overcome natural forces? Of course. Of course you can. But when you run out of fuel, what's going to happen? Nature will take over again. All right? Now, can you manipulate the laws of nature? Absolutely. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can use one law to counterbalance another natural law. All right? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yes, you can, absolutely. Let me repeat that. You can do dirt. For example, you can rob and steal, and then on the other hand, you can do what? Be a philanthropist. Give a lot of money away. Okay? Yeah, so you can become a master at counterbalancing natural law. That's the essence of what flying a plane is like, right? Or sending a rocket up. But eventually it's going to catch up with you. Okay? Let's continue. Suffering and death are a condition of our human nature. No, it is not. Part of what Wordsworth calls the quote, the still, sad music of humanity. Now, whenever you hear humanity, you should think Han Uman. Han Uman, the created creature, Genesis chapter 1. Half man, half monkey, half chimpanzee. Okay? You should also put it in your mind, relate this to the story about Yaqub and the 12 Moabite genetic engineers. Okay? But I'm sure they were masters at other sciences too. Okay? Probably all, well, not probably, definitely all of the sciences. Okay? Because this is the Moabite time. Our morality, now, whenever you hear people talking about morality, you better duck, put on a bulletproof vest and a steel helmet. Morality and ethics, okay, watch out. You're about to get robbed. I strongly suggest to you all, abandon these ideas of morality and ethics. Return to nature. Return to nature. Watch the video that I did on the tree of life. No, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay? I did a video presentation on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Let me say this to you. Judging people, or judging things rather. Do y'all know that's toxic? That shortens your life. That causes problems in your life. Many, if not most, of your problems are not because of other people, it's because of you. You judge. You judge people and you judge events. Make your correlation and integrate. All right? Go back and watch that video. So, warning. Morality and ethics, always a problem. Solution, follow natural law. Don't harm anybody, period. You don't need an ethical system, okay? When people start talking about an ethical system, they're coming up with a fancy way to screw you, to rationalize it, and to get other people to agree, okay? And as I look at this, it doesn't say morality, it says mortality. The still sad music of humanity, our mortality, guarantees our suffering. That is not true. Mortality doesn't guarantee suffering. You can live a wonderful, fantastic, lavish, happy life. Right? There's no suffering in that. Now, if you're afraid to die and you're worried about burning in hell, what's going to happen after death? Well, you have a fixation. You have an obsession on something negative. You deal with death when it comes. And if you know that you are Psalms 82:6, what you got to worry about? You don't fear death. Right? No reason to fear it. Okay? Our mortality guarantees our suffering. That's BS. And the lesson of this gospel is that we must accept that this is so. No, we don't. Y'all see that? The lesson of this gospel. The gospel wants you to think. See, this is God's spell. Zeus's spell. Iesu's spell. The Tetragrammaton spell. Dios, Jupiter, Jupiter. Who else, y'all? Bacchus. You can name these deities one after the other. Same, as they say in Vietnamese. They want you to accept that you need to suffer. In other words, they want you what? They want you to not follow natural law. They want you in the curses. The only way that's going to happen is through what? Through your consent. Your voluntary, knowingly or unknowingly, giving it up. Giving up your birthright. Y'all see it? We're talking law here. Birthright cannot be sold. Okay? It cannot be sold. It cannot be bought. If it can't be sold, obviously it can't be bought, right? And it cannot be taken from you. But you can what? You can rent it out, let somebody else use it. Or you can renounce, you can repudiate it. I don't want it. All right? And you can take it back at any time. My message to you is take it back and take it back now. Take it back now. How? Harmonize with nature. Simple. Be honorable. Period. Easy. You have to follow any belief system. Be honorable. Learn who you are. Follow the traditions of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. And what is that tradition? Follow the Most High's instructions, which are natural law. Period. Easy, right? So easy. Nothing to worry about. No crazy stuff to do. All right? But the gospel wants you to suffer and accept it. That means wants you to be in the curses and to accept being in the curses. Yes, you need to accept it. Right? Isn't that what it said? We must accept. That means you give it up. That means you repudiate all the wealth and riches that is your birthright. You repudiate it. I don't want it. I want the spiritual gifts, the treasures in heaven. What an idiot you are if you do that. A big bag of nothing. You can't even get it now. You got to wait until you expire. Think, people. Okay, you must accept this if you're going to be a Christian. All right? That this is so and go on anyway. Y'all got that? You accept it and you do it anyway. Y'all see that? That's why you get punished for going into these belief systems. That's why you're being punished. All right? You have not let go of these belief systems, which have gotten you out of harmony with natural law and in violation of the Most High's instructions, okay? So you get the curses, and rightly so. Who implements and executes the curses? The curses, your oppressor, the hybrid, or whoever is in power wherever you are, all right? Out of suffering comes new life. Not necessarily a life beyond the grave, although this is not ruled out. Oh, so you do all of that suffering and now you don't, now it's not sure that you don't get a life beyond the grave? But a new awareness of and a new response to the life we are presently living. Oh my goodness. Y'all don't believe, do y'all believe that? Let me state this differently. Let me redenominate it, okay? Suffering calls you to correct your attitude and behavior. Okay? So suffering helps you to what? Identify what is natural and what's not natural. You do something that causes you to suffer. Oh, it's going to make you think, right? Should I do that again? Why did it happen? You begin to think. You begin to think. Okay? The suffering helps you to see who you are inside. You find your strength through suffering, and then you learn from it. Period. But suffering is not a lifestyle. Y'all heard? Suffering is not a lifestyle. Suffering is a teaching tool. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. Right? Okay. The moon, which spends 3 days in shadow before it emerges new once more, is a symbol of the indomitable and heroic urge of all life to renew itself in spite of the inevitability of death. The moon. So y'all know that JC is a moon deity, right? Y'all know that JC is a moon. Did y'all know that? Not JC, I'm sorry, the Tetragrammaton is also a moon deity. Y'all can research that. I don't feel like going into it. Let me see, how much time do I got? This video has gone quite long. So y'all support my work. I'm appreciative if you like the content. If you like my presentation, let me know in the comment section, okay? Tell me something good, all right? If you don't like it, you can put that in there too. But support my work. Be sure to support the project that I have to write the book of the law in Ancient Ibaryath so we can have it. Well, some of y'all call it Paleo Hebrew. And then into modern English. This will all be in one book, the same book, okay? It'll have all of the tools that you need in there to be able to analyze the work so you can see exactly what it says. The astrology will be put back in. Natural law will be put back in. Okay, law will be put back in. Everything that's been hidden, that's beyond what I just discussed, will be put back in, and the deceit, the lies, and the deception will be removed. All right, so support that with your fiat. Islam to the Moors, and Shalom.